start here from the top. As far as our rookies, we did have a rookie camp, but it was only for the undrafted free agents. It wasn't for the drafted players, walk-ons, tryout type players. And the one that made a lot of noise, a lot of waves, a lot of rumors was Darius Stills here, a walk-on from defensive tackle from West Virginia. And that might be part of the reason that David Irving was released. We'll get to that in a little bit. So as far as the rookies that were signed on the dotted line, we had 3, and those were our last 3 draft picks. Tyree Gillespie, our backup post safety behind Merrick. Nate Hobbs, a corner, who I think will be competing probably with Amik Robertson at the nickel position. And Jimmy Morrissey, a 7th round draft pick, center. And they all had very similar deals, 3.9 million, 3.8 million, and 3.6 million. And the only real difference was the signing bonus. Gillespie got about $500K, Nate Hobbs got about $300,000, and Jimmy Morrissey got about $100,000. So this is a very encouraging sign that we're already signing some of our draft picks now. We haven't signed any of the rest of the draft picks, including Alex Leatherwood yet, but that is normally expected. We're still in the late May. I would be a little more concerned if we're a little closer to training camp. And speaking of which, all signs are that we are green light go for a full preseason, and that is great news. Now, we recently had an OTA, a voluntary OTA, which stands for Organized Team Activities, this week. And the reports were that 70 of the Raiders players showed up. And that is huge because, one, it was voluntary. And 2, more importantly, the NFL Players Union was advising all the players in the league to boycott these voluntary OTAs. And they showed up anyway. So it's a good sign for the team. The reports are we will be having our training camp in late July, and it's going to be in Henderson at the brand new facility. I know some of you fans in NorCal would want it back in Napa. I don't think that's going to happen. It didn't happen last year. I think those days are over, unfortunately. They do have a huge training facility, over 150,000 square feet of just outdoor fields, including indoor fields as well. Very nice state-of-the-art facility. I talked about that in a previous video with John Gruden. So let's talk about the preseason itself. I know we talked about in a live stream the regular season schedule. If you haven't caught that, I would hope you would. I put a link in the description below as well for that. But as far as this year goes, if you haven't heard, the league is going from 16 regular season games to 17. So they trimmed off one of the preseason games. It's usually 4 preseason games. So it's the usual suspects here. We have Seattle at home and then on the road against LA Rams and San Francisco 49ers. It makes sense for a number of reasons. 1, the travel. You don't want to travel a whole lot early on. And 2, these are NFC opponents. So they're across conferences. You generally don't want to meet up with teams in the AFC or in your division during the preseason. So let's get to a subject I will briefly discuss, and that is David Irving has been released by the Raiders. Reportedly, this was shortly after the voluntary OTAs were started. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to why he was. I don't really want to get into all the rumors, and suffice it to say, a lot of the reports are saying that he basically wasn't, quote, a good fit for the Raiders. Now, you could look at it one way and say, well, we brought in Gus Bradley as our defensive coordinator, so therefore maybe there's some legitimacy to that. But honestly, we were looking for interior pass rushers, and this guy does have the skill to do that. Unfortunately, he's had a lot of problems, more so with the attitude and the area above his neck, so to speak, and that started even with Dallas when he was there. Now Rod Marinelli brought him in basically as a second chance So I'm not sure if they didn't see the dedication this time around or what there is. There is rumors of that was actually the reason why. If that is the case, I feel sorry for him. I mean, physically, he's got the talent. He just needs to get it together mentally, and hopefully he can do that and get another chance. But this might have been his last chance in the league. And as far as the Raiders go, if this situation is true, I would agree with the Raiders here, because you want a dedicated player. So that's all I'll talk about with that, because the rest is speculation. So let's get to the big announcement here. So I've kind of talked about it. I've put it out there a few times, the announcement. So let's without further ado, let's talk about it. And that is, we're going to, next week, going to be live at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And we're going to do a stadium tour on Thursday, May 27th. It's going to start at 4:20 p.m. Pacific. Now, I did put an asterisk here as far as live stream. There's been reports that you can't take video during the tour. Now I'm going to see if we can. That is my plan A. If we can, I will do a straight webcam type live stream tour of the live stream of the whole tour at that time. If we can't, what I'm going to do is take a ton of pictures. I will put a separate video out on that later, but after the tour is over, I will live stream in the areas I can, including the outside, so you guys can see the stadium. It's beautiful. I've seen it driving up and down the 15 before. I have not gotten to go inside of it, so I am stoked. This is going to be exciting, and I want to bring you guys in along with that as well. So at this point, I'm going to leave it open to you. This is going to be our Q&A kind of open segment here. Now I'm going to go look through the chat, and if you have any questions about what I talked about with the rundown or anything else Raider or football related, go ahead and put them in the chat below and we can discuss these. Thanks for coming. 808 Raiders, thank you for coming. Chevy Silver Raider, you come to all my live streams. I appreciate that. One of the only players not to show up to OTAs. Yeah, there's been talks where he's been late to meetings in the past, going back to last year and even Dallas, and he supposedly had a thing with Jason Garrett, the head coach, when he was there in Dallas. So unfortunately, it sounds like he's kind of continued this type of behavior. And if that's the case, it's good on the Raiders. That shows that we're not going to kind of put up with that kind of attitude and mentality. We want more of a team mentality. It makes sense. David Irving was also overweight and out of line when they addressed him on. Yeah, I heard that report too. He didn't come to the OT, or he didn't come in and be in shape. I think that was his last season. Well, yeah, he was on a 1-year deal. See, I didn't really want to get into kind of speculations, but kind of all signs point to, I would say, the obvious, and that he's just not mentally there. He's not mentally mature or dedicated enough to play. I mean, physically wise, he has the skills to be a pretty good pass rusher on the inside, and that's exactly what we need. But he, if you're not going to be committed and then nobody can use you, right? And it's unfortunate to us because we could use a player like that, but honestly, it's more so for him because he's going to look back. If this is the case, he's going to look back in 5 or 10 years and think of all the money he just threw away because he didn't want to behave. If that's the case, But again, all the rumors are pointing to that, and he did have a history before with the Cowboys with this. Rod Marinelli brought him over when he came over here from Dallas, so I don't know. It's discouraging, to be honest, and I'm sure Rod's not very happy with it as well. So if you have any other questions about the preseason or the draft picks we had, I think Nixon and Richards are up for the snip. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Nixon for sure. Zay Jones, maybe. I'm not so sure about Zay Jones because we still need some kind of outside threat. They don't use him as much as I thought they would. I don't know if he wasn't up with the playbook, but they didn't really utilize him as much as I thought they should have. I was really excited about Irvin, but you have to show up and put in the work to get better. Just bad to waste his talent by not working. Yeah, it's true. You can't do that. I mean, he has been blessed with a certain ability. Now, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe he's just not ever want to play football, and I don't know. Maybe he got a little bit of money and then he was just tired of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just like I said, it's just speculation at this point. I think Jones stays. They like him like Peterman. Yeah, Nathan Peterman is. I have no idea why that guy's still on the team. I know why. It's because Gruden loves him, but I understand, especially with COVID. A practice squad guy at this point. Safwan said with Drake taking over a lot of the receiving, along with guys like Renfro and last year's rookies, Snead and Brown, I don't think Jones will get very many touches. Well, I don't know about that. Booker got some receiving the year before, so I would be more concerned, especially if you were talking like fantasy, about the impact to Jacobs. I think it's going to end up being a committee, and I welcome it as a Raider fan. I more than welcome it. Chevy, he just needed enough to buy a maybe. Not to mention Waller. I think Waller's going to be fine. He's Carr's go-to guy. Unless somebody could possibly beat him out, I don't see that. I mean, even if they use Moreau more, I think Waller's going to be fine as far as production. I think the bigger question is which of these wide receivers is going to step up? Is it going to be Ruggs? Is it going to be Edwards? That's a question. I don't think it's going to be Zay Jones. I would like to see Brian Edwards. I think he's to me. I think he could be a wide receiver one. So Carrier was solid 2 years ago. Pretty sure he's still on the roster. Derek Carrier, he was, but I mean, I know we run 3 tight end sets, but still. I mean, he's a blocking guy, right? He might get a goal line touchdown here or there or something, but he's not like, he's not going to get 400 or 500 yards. I still think Moreau's going to get about 400 yards and maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns this year. I think it will be a committee as well, but I think Jacobs goes over 1,000. And if the defense plays well, there's a chance Drake gets over. Oh, yeah, I agree, Leon. Because, if you see what we did, we want to run the ball. We want to run the ball on the inside. And if you saw my last video, I think there's mismatches to be exploited on I would say just about every divisional team, especially Denver. They have great edge. They have great on the edge. And safeties, but I'm not real keen on their inside linebackers or their nose tackle. So I think we could feast inside, and with let's see, yeah, and with Drake coming in to spell Jacobs, it's going to keep him fresh. I still think Jacobs kind of wears down over time, so it just makes sense to get a guy like Kenyon Drake Let's see. Edwards will see John Brown getting touches and Snead. We'll definitely want more, but Ruggs is hungry too. Oh yeah, that's right, Chevy, because we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with that. That's the big question to me. Who's going to get it? You know. So John Brown's basically the Aguilar replacement. I like Snead as an insurance policy for Renfro because it seems like he's going to still be returning punts. And that's kind of obviously a dangerous. I mean, he's been hurt before doing that, so. And he's been hurt over the middle, getting his clock clean, so. Did we cut him already? Carrier? I don't think so. I'd have to look on the roster. Leon, yeah, I consumed all the Raiders content I can with only one exception, really. Well, as far as that goes, I like a lot of other Raider channels. And I think we kind of complement each other. I think a lot have their certain strengths, depending on what you want to look for and talk about. There are some great channels out there. So, I enjoy them myself. You'll probably see me in the chat room on there, when you go on their live streams. So anything you guys want to talk about as far as the rookies? Like I said, I'm happy that they've, they're already coming to camp. They're wanting, or they've signed up. So I think they're right along with the program. So I'd like to see them on the field and actually see what they do. I like the other channels too, but they get way too clickbaity with the videos. Well, those are psychological things people do to draw people in. It is what it is. I mean, I've said this before, and I'm not knocking any other channels. I like a lot of the other channels, but I won't do like rumor mill type things. Oh, are we going to sign this player? Unless there's like significant heat around it, and like you're seeing mainstream saying, oh yeah, the trade is imminent for Aaron Rodgers or something. I'm not going to make an Aaron Rodgers, or what's the point? I did make a video on Derek Carr, whether or not we should move on from him, but we basically get that. That's an annual story ever since Gruden's been here. It's been an annual off-season story, so it's nothing. Like I said, it's been smoke. It's still smoke, and as of today, still smoke. So can't watch. Reminds me of Skip Bayless. Unwilling to walk back stuff he is wrong. Well, yeah, you got to have a look. I mean, I get things wrong sometimes too. It is what it is. We're not perfect out here. We go and we're researching and looking for things and, doing what we can to improve the content. Sometimes we make mistakes. So the rumors are getting annoying. That's why I don't watch the mainstream. Well, again, this is kind of the lull, right? And I've talked about this before, is that, okay, you have the season, you have the Super Bowl, and then there's a lull because really not much is happening. The official season didn't start this year until March 17th. And then it's like, oh my gosh, free agency's open, and then, oh my gosh, we've traded or released a bunch of, of our offensive linemen, then there's a lot of meat. There's a lot of things to talk about. Or we signed Yannick Ngakoue, but, and then we had the draft prep and then the draft, and then we can talk about the players that we selected in the draft. So right now, there's not a whole lot of meat right now to talk about until we probably get to training camp, right? Unless something crazy happens, we trade for Aaron Rodgers, that comes true, or, something crazy. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot of big things to talk about right now. That's partially why I wanted to kind of branch out, not just do Raider stuff or football stuff, do like fantasy football stuff as well. Because that kind of, if you're a fantasy player, that is coming up right now, especially in June. That's when all these, these fantasy magazines come out and everybody's trying to scramble. And if you have I'm in a couple keeper leagues, and, they're going to start up in June, and that kind of comes around. So that's why I wanted to get into that as well, because I don't want to not make videos, obviously, but I do want to talk about more meaningful things. Honestly, wouldn't want anyone else to replace Carr besides guys already in our division, which would never happen. The rest are older and too expensive. Yeah, and like I said in my video, when I talked about whether we should, stay or go with Carr, I put him anywhere from the 6th best quarterback in the league to like the 14th best. He's kind of got that range. So he's kind of a low end, type QB1, I would say. I mean, with his talent alone, we could, we should be able to win. We should be able to make playoffs. We could win a championship if we could get the defense fixed. It's not all on Carr. Now, he has made his mistakes. The big one, obviously, is his fumbling in the end zone. I don't know if he needs to get better gloves or what the deal is with that, but he did have a pretty good season this year, aside from the fumbles. Single digits in interceptions, over 4,000 yards again. His contract is top of league in value. Oh yeah, his contract, and I remember a lot of people complaining about that contract he initially signed, because at the time it put him I think in the top 5 or something when he first signed it a couple years back. But I was thinking, well, the salary cap's going to come, and then all these other players are going to get signed, and it's just going to eclipse him. So they're actually getting him cheaper, and that's exactly what happened. The only thing he does have one more year after this year, so he's through 2022. So that's, a lot of people were speculating that, we don't want him because we didn't sign him to an extension this year in the offseason. I'm like, you don't need to. Now, if we don't sign him in the next offseason, that there's some problems there, because 2022 will be his last year. So what do you guys want to see on the live stream in Vegas at the stadium? Anything in particular? I'm sure like everything, but I'm hoping they'll let me live stream during the tour. Again, but if they don't, I will be taking a lot of pictures and kind of going over them. But I will be live streaming after the tour. And I'm sure they'll have like the Raiders shop open if you guys want to see what they got in there. Yeah, I'm excited because, again, I've driven through there. I've been to Vegas. I have family members up north, so I go through the 15 to go through Vegas. And it's if you haven't seen it, like in person, it's ominous. It's pretty awesome. And, frankly, this team deserves it, right? I mean, I think maybe part of the problems with the Raiders, now it's not the end all be all, but I think part of the problems is maybe psychologically, you're playing in kind of an older stadium, the lowest rated stadium. And, now you're in, new digs, kind of a fresh start. Obviously, we all would have probably preferred to have a nice new stadium in Oakland, but that wasn't going to happen, especially when they wanted to keep the A's there. But that's a different story. So I'm thinking, we kind of refresh everything. So did you see? Wait, okay, hang on. Let's see. Leon Moody, I've been watching the Raiders since I was 7. I'm 41 this year. Not sure if I've ever been excited about our direction consistently year over year, except the fact that our division is so tough. Well, yeah, the last Super Bowl the Raiders won, I was watching with my dad as a kid. So, I mean, it's unfortunate. I think, especially the fans of Raider Nation, I don't want to be biased, but we're some of the best group of fans in the league, right? I mean, the only ones I could probably compare that to is maybe like the Browns or, Buffalo Bills. They got good fans too, but we deserve a winner. We deserve a champion, And a lot of things happened. I know, Al got older, and then, the family took over, and and all this other stuff, and the whole thing with that Super Bowl, and you could talk about whether or not Callahan threw the game. I think so. I mean, but that's another discussion. I know Tim Brown and Jerry Rice believe he did too, because he kind of changed the game plans at the last minute, all this weird stuff. But we deserve a winner, and hopefully we can get a winner now. People will want to come to Vegas, not just for Vegas being Vegas, but we have a nice team, a nice stadium. Hopefully, the team is running, I think, a little bit better. I think there's a time where a guy like David Irving would just be allowed to stay on, kind of hang on, if the rumor mills are true about him not showing up, and the mental side of it, not being dedicated, and they're not putting up with it now, so that's a good thing. And plus, like Nevada doesn't have a state tax, so if you're signing versus California, which is about maybe a 12% tax or something for state tax, it's a big difference. Did you see Ruggs 40 versus the other players? I don't know what that means. Oh, it's 40 time? No, I didn't see that. I didn't catch that. Super Young, Leon Moody says, the Super Young team we have been building throughout the draft, mostly with a rocking new stadium and competing for playoffs, hopefully a Super Bowl next season. I think that's the plan. I mean, I think the biggest thing is I hope John Gruden can do a bit better job with adjustments. I've talked about that in last year when I did some game reviews later in the year. I was not real happy with the situation. But yeah, I think with Gus Bradley, you can tell by the picks we made as well that these were picks that will fit into his system. So, the post safety picks that we had, kind of a Malcolm Kuntz, the Yannick kind of light player that we can, rush wide on third downs. Let's see. Well, 2016 kind of outlier. We were 6-10 on either side. 0-2. We meet the team. We traded our coach to with Gruden, and the NFL screwed us with the tuck rule. Never been seen before. Yeah. That whole tuck rule. Oh my gosh. It's like, it's like, I'm sure you guys are the same way. You go on one of those blood pressure monitors, put your hand in the cuff, and it starts checking it, and somebody starts talking about tuck rule. Your friggin' blood pressure probably goes up about 10, 20 points. Just that whole thing was ridiculous. Everybody knows it was ridiculous. It's the same thing with the stupid the index card saying we didn't make the first down. They would lean it over against the Dallas game last time we played Dallas. All this idiotic things, not to mention all the holding calls and the Josh Jacobs gets a 15-yard penalty for roughness for running over a guy. I mean, what? The running back? Come on. So yeah, we have to fight that, and I saw an interview with Gruden talking about that. It's like, yeah, I gotta try to behave myself with the refs, but sometimes I get unglued. It's like, yeah, totally. I totally see it. It's crazy. But yeah, 0-2 is great. I mean, we had a lot of great players on that team, but I still think Callahan was doing something shady in that game. And supposedly Barrett Robbins freaked out, because of it, and went to TJ, went off his meds, all that crap. I'm from Maine. How's it bar full of? I have a story with that. I bet it's kind of like where were you at when 9/11, or where were you at when JFK was shot? Back in the day. If you're old enough, I'm not old enough, but I know Raider Nation has that. Where were you the day? January 19th, 2002 or 2003, or no 2002. It was 2001 season. I was at my mom's house. It was her birthday. That's her birthday. That's why I remember the date. And, we're celebrating, got our gifts, cake and all that. And I know the Raider game was on. And, honestly, we were kind of underdogs. We were at their house. It was snowing. I'm like, well, I hope they win, but, I'm not going to get my hopes up. But the game was close, and they were playing hard, and we had the lead, and then Brady comes, and he's driving. He's trying to come and tie the game, and then, we hit him. Woodson hits him, and it's like, and the ball drops down. We recover it. And it's like, yeah, that's it. We sealed it. And then, they even called it a fumble on the field. This was within 2 minutes. So then the game stopped by the league officials. And then they overturned what was called on the field. I totally blew a gasket. It was crazy. I don't think I ever got so mad at a game my whole life. We were totally screwed over in that game. So let's see. F the refs and Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom landed in a good spot in Tampa. Basically had a fantasy team there, and then wonderful Antonio Brown shows up. Oh, now he wants to play. Oh, okay, wonderful. Oh yeah, the league hates us because Al wasn't a fan of the merger with AFL NFL merger. I think that's where it kind of stemmed, and they kind of, he was the commissioner at one time, and they kind of, and he was owner of the Raiders at the time. They kind of went behind his back, so to speak. Lamar Hunt did, little scumbag. Chiefs, another reason to hate the Chiefs, but I think ever since then, and he's always been a maverick. He's always said what was on his mind, and when you do that, sometimes there's a price to pay, but so what, Since the 60s, yeah. He was a true gangster. Oh yeah, he was like the OG Al. I miss Al. You know what? I don't know if they couldn't because of some fire regulations or some crap. I'm going to ask in the tour when I go there, but I wish the torch would have been like a real flame. Flame torch like we had in Oakland. I know it's huge, but I mean, even if they made it a little bit smaller, have a real flame, it's like a LED thing, I mean, it's not bad, but I would have preferred like a real fire. That would have been cool, but maybe they couldn't because of, safety regulations or something. So, so what do you guys think? I think a good question is, who do you think will be our starting wide receivers and our starting corners? How much does that tour cost? The tour was, you can get the regular tour. They couldn't afford real fire. They paid like almost $2 billion for the stadium. So I don't know if that is, the tour, I got the one where you get the drink at the end. It's like $80 for that. It's like, I think it's like $10-15 less if you don't, but I thought, you know what? Maybe after the tour, you can sit there and have a drink and enjoy it, and I can take a bunch of pictures. It's worth it, right? Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, Earth Daughter. Thank you for coming, by the way, and moderating. But yeah, I mean, I am just so excited. I'm so stoked to be going next week. So I'm going to be spending a few days there, and that's going to be the highlight for me, is that tour and actually getting inside and getting up close, Mullen, Hayward, Arnett. So, Chevy, are you saying Arnett's going to be the slot then, since you put him third? So you got Mullen and Casey Hayward on the outside. And you got Abram and Carl Joseph. I don't know about that. I think Joseph's a box guy. So I think Merrick's, I mean, we went up. I mean, we even moved up to grab him in the second for a reason. So yeah, I'm gonna edit that silent beginning. Yeah, my stupid thing was muted. I don't know why. Sorry about that, guys. But like the first few minutes were, I was like talking, but nobody could hear me. Unfortunately, I'm gonna take that out in the final. But unfortunately, I think it messes up with the live chat, so it won't record the live chat. Unfortunately, but it's better than having like 4 or 5 minutes of dead air time or whatever. Yeah, I did add too much though. Yeah. So let's see. Outside, I believe they get sneaky in the slot with either Merrick. Really? Merrick's going to be in the slot? I don't know about that. Who's gonna Leon? Who's gonna play the high safety, the post safety then? If we don't have Merrick or Gillespie. That would, yeah, that's another reason why I want a full off season. We have so much young talent, and we've drafted, and we had those high draft picks from the Bears, and we got the one from Dallas. Let's see. I want to see these guys. We've invested a lot of draft capital, a lot of it on the defense too. I want to see what Gus does with these guys. Let's see, Raiders clearly higher on Arnett. The Raiders should not likely bench a first round pick after one season, which came injured. And yeah, that's why I said it. That's why I said in my post video, Leon, my post draft video, I came up with my roster. I had Mullen and Arnett starting on the outside game one, but I think the leash will be short. If they mess up, they could put Casey Hayward in there as an insurance policy. Merrick played 70% of the snaps last year at corner. Yeah, but we need a free safety. You could say the same thing about Javon Holland, but he was being drafted as a safety, not a corner. Mm-hmm. Well, they do that for flexibility, obviously. Any other questions you have about either what I covered or thoughts on the off season? I'm kind of, it's unfortunate with the whole Irving situation. I'm hoping that one of the other guys steps up. They did release Mo Hurst earlier, so I'm maybe Solomon Thomas. I don't know, or Jefferson. There's a few other players, but if they were so high on them, they wouldn't have brought these other guys in. So. Like I've said it before, I think it almost feels like we're just trying to throw, as far as the defensive tackle, we're just trying to throw things against the wall and see what sticks. But we need some kind of rush presence on the inside. Leon Moody said, and Gruden kept mentioning Gillespie when talking about Merrick and his speed. I think if Merrick plays free, Gillespie will play the slot or opposite. Yeah, I think he's going to bounce around. It'll be interesting. This is good. Competition's good, and I know. Maybe not you. I know there was some rumblings when we got rid of LaMarcus Joyner, but. I'd rather have a situation we have now. Get a bunch of young, hungry guys. And okay, who's going to get that slot? Who's going to take it? And And we also did draft Amik Robertson the year before, I believe in the 4th round. So I get confused with Arnett. We talk about high character quality guys. We draft but then we draft him up for him a so-called reach, and he turns out to be a thug type guy who looks for wrapping and weapons. Yeah, you're not going to get all high quality guys. I kind of have the old school Raider mantra, right? You know, like John Madden used to say, you know, come to practice on time and play like hell. You know, I mean, obviously we don't want him to go to jail or anything like crazy or something, but you know, if he's not a choir boy on Sundays, it's not a huge deal for me as long as he's got football on his mind and he plays hard. So, and remember that he had injuries himself. So, what a position to be in when you have so many players that could contribute. Yeah, absolutely, Chevy. That's the point. I mean, this is what's the most exciting for me. Plus, we have Gus Bradley now, and I'd like to see how he uses all this talent. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see in camp the rumors that you hear, certain players at certain positions practicing, and then once we get into the preseason games, obviously they're not going to do any kind of crazy formations. It's usually kind of base kind of things. It's more like, obviously like a scrimmage game. They don't count, but it'll give us a good idea of who's winning the battles and, who's going to be put where. Let's see. Merrick was a ball hawk who covered well in the slot. Gillespie lacks coverage, overstated. You don't hold Pitts to one catch and 7 yards in your coverage. But yeah, that's like his claim to fame. Covering Pitts in the Florida game. Not saying that I don't like Arnett. It just seems inconsistent, especially when you draft. Well, the Raiders have a history of doing weird things, especially in the first round of the draft. If you haven't noticed, Cleveland Farrell, Leatherwood. Again, not to say that they're bad players. I know I got one comment when I did my video on Leatherwood's evaluation that I gave him a D, and I said, no, I didn't give him a D. I gave him an A- for a player. I gave us a D for drafting him where he was because of the valuation. That's why I broke it up into different categories. So you could say something similar about Cleve Farrell. I don't think he was a top 4 guy. I don't think he was even with Nick Bosa, even though Gruden and Mayock said that after the draft. No. Is he a decent player? Yeah. Maybe a late first. It is what it is. I like Clee. I like Clee too. I do. It'll be. That's another thing. Where are we going to stand with the ends? Are they going to move him to a DT spot permanent? Are they going to bounce him around? They're going to throw Yannick and the Leo on the outside, basically like an Ingram outside linebacker, Leo at times, and then put Clee next to him. I still hope. I don't want Crosby on the bench. I mean, the guy got 7 sacks with a torn shoulder, and I said I was watching one live stream and I put, I think he'll get double-digit stacks, and he's like, how is he going to do that? I'm like, oh. He got 7 last year. Clearly better than Solomon. I think Solomon's like another one of those Irving. Can we make something out of him? Make chicken salad out of, But yeah, Solomon is concerning because I don't think he's even going to make the roster, to be honest. It's not just he just seemed kind of lost. When he was, if you look at plays with the Niners, he looked like he knew what the heck he was doing out there. And they picked him 3rd overall, so. Well, I disagree. His game against Bama was really good, breaking up passes to Smith and Waddle, stuffing Harris at the goal line many times. Okay. Yeah. I, I, I'm. I like all players have highs and lows, and I said that with Trayvon Mullen. You see flashes where he looks really good, and then it's like, what the hell are you doing? There's other times it's like, oh, just so frustrating. So Max has 17 sacks in 2 seasons, but 3 without Klee on the field. So yeah, that's another reason though, Leon. That's why we got Unique. I mean, you can't be a one-hit wonder or one-trick pony, so to speak. You can't just have one threat. That's why I said I did that video on the Chargers, knowing your enemy. They did draft an outside linebacker to replace Ingram because if you just have Bosa, so what? You can just double team him every time. You don't have to really worry about the rest. His best 2 games were against best competition. Again, the only thing that concerns me is that we're depending on post safeties. That we're depending on rookies to play like basically your goaltender, your center fielder. This is kind of, even if you were good in college, this is a step up. Obviously, the best of the best in college play in the NFL. Or at least the above all. They're all above average. You're not going to get any weak games compared to like college. You're not paying Middle Tennessee State or some nonsense. I would be shocked if Solomon Thomas isn't on our roster. I wouldn't. He hasn't shown anything, to be honest, since he's been in the league. To be honest, he'd have to show something. Oh, hey Dominique. Yeah, you came in a little late, but yeah, the big announcement is I'm going to be going to Allegiant Stadium next Thursday and doing a live stream. I'm going to be doing the stadium tour. And if they allow me to live stream during the tour, I will. But if they won't, I will do it after the tour and give you guys a walk around as much as I possibly can. Watching Thomas in college, he looked like a superstar. Maybe it comes back. Oh yeah, but look at him when he was on the Niners. He did. He looked lost. How much guarantee money? I know it's 1 year, $5 million, but I don't know how much it's guaranteed, Zach. Like I said, I'm pulling for him. Obviously, we're Raider fans. We don't want any of our guys to fail, but if I had to make a bet, we'll see. I'll try to be a little more optimistic about it, right, guys? I went to Vegas a month ago, but not on the tour. I just went to Raider Image Stores. Absolutely stunning. Yeah, I'll go in there too. It should be open, but it should be open. I'm not sure the hours. My tour is at 4:20 p.m. Pacific. So if they do allow me to live stream directly in the tour, I will start the live stream then. If not, I think the tour is about an hour-ish. I will do it right after that. Leon Moody says Thomas also overlooked. Take last year, for example, Bosa injured a lot. Armstead production took a hit. When he's at the 3 technique, his quickness off the ball against the guards and the tackles was disruptive. Yeah, he has the talent. This is another guy. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, he was selected 3rd overall in the draft, so. There's talent there. I mean, it's to me, it's worth taking a flyer on the guy and seeing. You're right about the Niners. There's been never examples of guys that were bust on drafting teams and superstars after, like Tannehill or Micah or Jim Plunkett, who was selected by the Niners 1st overall, and then came here, and you know what he did here. Waller was improving with the Ravens, now superstar. That's another thing. You know, they saw something in Darren Waller that they could use, and he's been awesome. You know, he was on the practice squad for the Ravens, for crying out loud. So. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about? We're getting near an hour. But if you guys want to, you know, if you have any questions or you want to talk about anything else. Let's see. So yeah, so that's, again, if anybody who just came on, the big announcement will be next week. I will be going to Allegiant Stadium, doing the studio tour on Thursday. I will live stream either during the tour itself or right after. So you'll get to see, you guys will get to at least see some of the interiors, definitely the outside as well, and whatever else they will allow me to live stream. So that'll start, the tour starts at 4:20. If they allow me to do it on the tour, I will start it at 4:20. If not, it'll be another hour after that. Who do you think will start opposite Mullen? Arnett. As I said in my post-draft video. And right now I'm sticking to it now. I mean, you could say Casey Hayward, but I don't think they're going to give up on a first-round pick so quick. Now, I think he's going to be on a short leash, but he's going to start week 1. What would be a successful season for you in terms of our D-line? Each like Solomon 4. So I guess you mean sacks. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Sacks wise. Yeah. I think if a DT gets 4 sacks or more, that's success. I think it's just to keep everybody honest. You know, I know they're going to want to try to stop Unique, and and I've said in the Unique video, I mean, his floor is 8 sacks. I mean, people say, oh, he can't get to the passer or ball. Look at the stats. Look at the stats because, I mean, he was on what, 2 teams that one year with Minnesota trading him to Baltimore. And I think he got like 4 sacks with each team. And now he's back with his guy, the guy that drafted him. Gus Bradley drafted him in the 3rd round when Gus was head coach there. I think 4 is successful. I wouldn't mind 5 or 6 collectively either. That shows we get overall pressure. If it takes more than one player at this point, then so be it. Let's see. Leon Moody says, I think if you put Thomas quickness off the ball with Max Clee and Unique, yeah, it'll be a handful. Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe Solomon wasn't used properly. I know he was drafted as an edge rusher, and then they tried him inside. That didn't work out either. So maybe it'll work out here. I hope. Your thoughts on Rasul Douglas? I think a solid corner. I think he's for depth, but can I be a mod? You want to be a mod, Dominique? Well, there you go. You're a mod. Thank you for volunteering, Dominique. I appreciate it. I know you've been here a while. You come to all the live streams. So, thank you. All right. What do you guys think of Malcolm Kuntz? You know what I think of him if you've watched our live stream mock drafts. And no problem, Dominique. I appreciate you volunteering for that. Safwan, a mod is a moderator. So like, I mean, we have 12 viewers right now, but like if you have like a ton, like we get bigger, whatever, you have like hundreds of people in chat, you need other people to help kind of, if you get spam or, somebody doing something crazy on here, you can kind of, delete them, shut them down. So Let's see. Leon Moody says, no, Thomas played 3 tech in college, not edge. He's trying to... Niners tried moving him. Well, that's where he initially started, so I think he'll be good over time, but in about 2 years. Okay. But I mean, well, let's think about it. I mean, we drafted a corner, we picked him up. We signed a corner in free agency, so like Keyshawn Nixon. It's like update your resume. I the guy I really hope that they give more of a chance to is Isaiah Johnson. I think he could be good on the outside, but I'm not sure if there's enough room for him. Another guy we drafted and we didn't really fully use. Yeah, I really hope Isaiah Johnson gets a chance. Yeah, he won it. Like I said before, he won us that Charger game single-handedly on 2 different plays. If you watch that at the end, it's good. It's a good problem to have. So many good players at one position, right? Especially, hopefully we don't get as many injuries because we should be having a full off season. I think last year, a lot, we didn't get a full off season and the bodies weren't at up to speed the way they needed to be right off the bat. And it probably, you saw it league wide, a lot more injuries last year. I think Kuntz gets his beak wet this season. I'm going to say 4 or 5 sacks this year. Yeah, Leon, I predict, I'll say it again, I think Malcolm Kuntz is going to win us 1 game this year, at least 1. He's going to secure a game for us, like we have like a 7-point lead, a 3-point lead, and, the guy, the other team's trying to drive to tie it, and he's going to come off the edge, get a strip sack, and, secure the game for us. I know some people say Khalil, but it's just because he went to Buffalo, but I think he plays a lot more like Yannick. It's probably the exact reason why they went and got him in the 3rd. No, and then, we also have Diablo. We didn't even talk about him tonight. They want him as basically like the dime linebacker guy. They even said it, and it makes sense. I'm excited. I think we have a whole lot of good talent that Gus can mold. I think it's just going to be a matter of time getting it molded. How long is it going to take? A season? Half a season? Sign Morgan Moses. Do you know why, Dominique, do you know why he was just released? I didn't look into it, but it's kind of strange that they would release him now. Is there like an injury concern, or usually if that was going to be the case, they would just not release him. That would have happened like in March when a lot of the other players were released when the season officially started. So yeah, I didn't look into it what happened there. Hi Raphael, welcome. Hopefully Yannick ain't a bust like our other free agents. Well, like if you've seen my Yannick video, one of the cool things I did is I went through his career and I put his stats up against the Raiders of that season and the Raider leaders in like sacks, quarterback pressures, and he's basically on par, if not better. I think Khalil Mack beat him out 1 year, but other than that, he was better than anything we had before. So it's definitely an upgrade. And obviously, I think it'll help Max on the other side too. Safety's changed my mind. Oops. It's okay, Leon. Dominic said they drafted Cosme and signed another tackle, just trying to go younger and save money. Okay. But the problem is tackles tackle's not the easiest position to cover, right? I'm just trying to think there might be something else to that, right? Do you not want to take a pay cut? Is there injury concern? Did he ask for his release when they did draft Cosme? I don't know. Yannick ain't going to be a bust 100%. I don't think so either. I think the only thing that could stop Yannick, heaven forbid, is injury. I mean, he's proven he can get to the quarterback, and he's in his system now with Gus again. Yeah, Leon. Yeah, that's when the Vikings traded for him and then traded him to Baltimore midseason. And I think they did it because like a fire sale. So, still kind of crazy, but doesn't Washington have decent cap too? I'd have to look as far as their cap space. What about Cosme? No, I was asking why Moses from Washington got released, Leon. And Dominique said because they drafted Cosme to take over at right tackle. Raphael says, I'm just saying because last season he didn't play that well. I don't know. People keep saying that, but look at the sack totals. Now the argument you could make is, well, they had a lot of other talent on the team, so that helped him. So you could make that argument maybe, but if you look season to season, like I said, his floor is 8 sacks. Every year he's been in the league. It's the minimum he's gotten. Tesla investor. I took the tour and they said absolutely no video. Okay. Well, then I'll do video after. I'll do a video after the tour. Tesla investor, welcome here. Jay Oaks. Yannick is a violent player out there, guys. He's super quick. He's so disruptive. That's what I mean. Let's think about it. We got Yannick, right? And they're going to be worried about him. Now Max is going to be coming back. The shoulder's going to be fine. Oh my gosh. It's going to be problems. It's going to be problems. Now it's up to try to contain Mahomes, You can get to him, but if he squeaks by, don't let him run for a first down. Is he good versus the run? He's got an okay grade, if you, for what it's worth, on PFF. I think he's better suited for that outside type Leo. I think you pair him with Farrell next to each other, and Farrell is great against the run. I like him. Pretty sure he had as many sacks as the entire Minnesota team all there instead. I think it was something like that. There was some weird stat that he did. He had as many as the rest of the Vikings, but they were getting rid of him to save money or something on the contract. Minnesota's weird. They just kind of do weird things, like signing Kirk Cousins for 1 million years. Just have to stay healthy as a team. Well, yeah, and that's probably why we got the depth and the flexibility too for this defense. They wanted to get quicker. They talked about that, and they've talked about wanting to get more sacks, more sacks and turnovers. I think they've improved that. We'll see how it all shakes out in the games, but I think we have more talent to do that. I think Farrell's going to be better because he's unique, like Josh Allen benefited. Yeah. They can't target everybody. So I mean, like guys like Max and Clee are going to feast, I think, with Unique out there. Crosby's not the greatest against the run. What's your name, or what can we call you? You can call me Champion. That's fine, Dominique. Let's see. Anything else you guys want to talk about? And like I said, I want to do videos. I kind of gave a rundown of kind of the activity that's been happening with the Raiders. Is, most of it positive, except with the Irving release. But if it was because of what people are saying it is, that is kind of a positive team wise. We're not gonna kind of put up with that. So, and I wanted to put out that big announcement next week. Tesla investor. I've heard that you can't have video there. If we can't, then the plan B will be I will take pictures and drop a video later, but then after the tour I'll do live streaming where I can inside and of course out. Was Darren McFadden a bust? No. I wouldn't say he was a bust. Jokes. Yeah, Moody, the reason I think Gillespie ends up playing a lot in the slot is because he'll mostly play curl flats from that spot and add speed. I think Gus takes a play from Pete Carroll with Adams blitzing the edge. Okay. I mean, Gillespie is fast, so I can't argue that. It would be interesting, though, if they actually put Gillespie as the starting slot guy. Who do you think starting at DT? Well, Hankins on one side. I think I put Irving in my post-draft video, but gonna have to. I think I updated it for the division rival video. If you haven't noticed, I took Irving out, so you can see who I put there. Did you talk about Julio personally? I don't want to. And yeah, I'm not going to talk about Julio, to be honest. Number of reasons. One, it's kind of speculation. Two, it's $14 million for a guy I think is kind of hitting that arc where the productivity is going to be going down now. I can't say he's injury prone. He got injured one, I'm not going to say that, but I think what the Falcons did kind of speaks volumes. And I said this before, they did the same thing when they had Roddy White. They moved up and grabbed Julio Jones, and basically the torch was passed to him. And now they have Calvin Ridley, and it looks like they did the same thing with him. So if you want Gillespie in slot and Abrams in the box, can you send some timely bits off the edge with speed? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Raphael says, do you think our roster is good, or do you want us to sign someone else like Ingram or Houston? I think we're good now. The problem with Ingram is that, he was injured. Again, this is what, is he 32, 33 years old? I mean, he played in the system last year with Gus, but I think we're going to pay for production we're not going to get if we sign him. Houston would be interesting. I'm not sure what the market would bear on that. I haven't looked at that. Long term, assuming you're comparing rookie to rookie throughout career, would you rather have a year 5 quarterback for a second contract, Carr, or Lamar Jackson for the rest of their career? It'd probably depend on the rookie quarterback, right, Safwan? I mean, are you saying I could have Trevor Lawrence for 5 years? Maybe. Let's not pay Ingram. Well, again, I mean, Father Time's undefeated. I mean, Ingram was good, but it's kind of like Julio. It's a guy I think we're going to overpay and not get the same production out of. That's my opinion on that. Yeah, but as far as the rookie, I definitely wouldn't want Lamar Jackson because it doesn't work in the playoffs with him. I mean, he finally got out of the first round last year or whatever. So, but still, he's exposed. He can run like Vic, but he can't throw like Vic did. Derek Carr's solid. I mean Carr or Lamar. No, I'd rather have Carr over Lamar any day of the week. I think Lamar has more athletic talent, but I think he's more one-dimensional. Carr can run. He just needs to be able to like hold on to the ball and not fumble it every time. I mean, he even fumbles it when he goes out of bounds. So I don't know. Like put some stickum on the left glove or whatever so he can run. I don't know. All right. Anything else you guys want to cover? We're getting near, let's see, getting near hour and a half now. Plus less snaps for Kuntz. At the same time, I'd rather see him develop with some growing pains if need be. Oh yeah. I think Kuntz could be the, I don't want to say he's the next Ingram, but he could. You know, wouldn't that be something? Holy crap. Basically, I think Lamar had his hype and his MVP for running. But that's not sustainable. That being said, I think Carr's a better quarterback. Yeah, Carr's a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. Yes. And I think at some point, somebody's going to hit him. I know he's quick, but he's going to get smacked, and who knows? That could be that. Are you concerned about the offensive line? I'm kind of concerned about Andre James. Well, that's why we got Nick Martin, Raphael. So I'm not real concerned. You know, we kind of got a seasoned vet there in Nick Martin. Basically, I know a lot of people are saying James is going to start. We'll see. I'm just hanging out. You guys can hang out when I'm walking the stadium. That's going to be great, you know. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to be walking around with the phone on the webcam, looking through. We can go through places and, you know, try not to get kicked out. It's going to be great. I was thinking about buying some of those camera glasses, but, you know, I don't want to get booted out of the stadium before even seeing it. Let's see. All right. All right. If anybody doesn't have anything else to say, I think we'll close it out here. We're all busy at 4:20. Hey, that was the time they had. You know, we're not going to be lighting up or anything. Just saying. Yeah, thanks, Dominique. Appreciate you coming. I appreciate everybody who came here. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. That'll get more viewers, more people seeing this video once it pops out as a video, obviously. But otherwise, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out. And don't forget about next Thursday. I'll be putting out a notice for that shortly. Thank you again. And as always, go Raiders.